Alright, so welcome to another episode of the In the Hot Seat podcast. And in this week's episode, and for this month, I do have for two pay-per-view reviews, and that'll be for NWA Hard Times 2, and also for NXT Takeover Wargames. Hopefully you all enjoyed your Thanksgiving. I know I sure did. Fresh back from WrestleCade and had a really great time. I was able to not only meet Mickie James, but as well the inspiration too at the same time. And definitely, I think that one, since it was basically the first time for me since 2019 being back, one of my favorite WrestleCades for sure. Being able to meet Mickie James for the first time, and I was actually supposed to meet her in Charlotte at one time since she was able to have a concert. I didn't get to actually meet her, but I did get to see her sing at the time, and with that, I was wanting to actually have her sign one of my CDs. She did this time, since last time I actually had to leave early from the show, unfortunately, but I made up for it for this year. She's definitely super nice, and I highly recommend you meeting her. And WrestleCade 2021 was definitely one of my favorites since it was more stacked and everything, and pretty much unpredictable because you never know what's going to really be happening in wrestling right now, with people coming and going, especially now more than ever. So it made it for a really fun show. Being able to be with wrestling fans again was really cool. So definitely highly recommend it. I do have a day in the life for that event for my main YouTube channel, which is Fortnite Project. I definitely highly recommend it. And for my podcast channel, definitely check it out too, for the In the Hot Seat Podcast official YouTube channel, of course, for the podcast right here. So just basically trying to keep it late, especially with it being the holidays. Christmas is coming up, which is crazy. Whereas the year gone, it's basically, been flying by ever since. So hopefully you enjoyed your holidays. And let's get right into NWA Hard Times 2, where we did have the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship qualifying match, where we had the returning Austin Aries and Rick Titus on this one. And we did get to see a talent from Ring of Honor, since they're looking to be taking a break from right here, and hopefully they will actually get to come back. I know a lot of talent was released for the time being, so we did get to see the talent here as well, and returning Austin Aries, and these two actually putting on an interesting back and forth matchup and everything. Austin Aries acting like he never left, and he was able to actually get the win here over with Titus on this one, so that was interesting to see where that's going to go. I'm sure maybe we'll get to see Austin Aries in NWA more often, and possibly on ROH whenever it does come back, and with it being its final month for the time being for this month, with its final tapings and the pay-per-view coming up. And then we had the ROH Tag Team Championships on the line. The OGK, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, take out Aaron Stevens and Junior Kaidos on this one, on that too as well. And with this one, I really like the OGK on this one, and being able to see them in NWA has been cool lately. They were able to keep their titles. That was really nice to see, so cool with that. Then we had Colby Carino and this Will Doug Williams. I can't remember the last time I've ever seen Doug Williams. It's been a long time since he was actually wrestling in TNA, so this was fun to see as well. Being able to see having them both go at it and everything. Hopefully we get to see Doug Williams more often as of that, and I believe Carino was able to actually get a surprising win there in defeating Doug Williams. And then we get into one of my favorite matches of the night. I was looking forward to the Knockouts Championship on the line, surprisingly, with Mickie James and Kiera Hogan. And Kiera Hogan wanted this match for a long time, being able to face her idol, since she has been a Mickie James fan, and that's why she's in the business, and she was able to finally face her, and these two go really back and forth, and it was almost hard to tell who was going to win at that point, and actually Mickie James was able to come back and retain, and which makes sense of being able to face Deonna Purrazzo too soon at Hard to Kill for Impact. And then we had the NWA TV Championship on the line between Tyrus and Cyan on this one. And with this one, they haven't been really caring too much for Tyrus, but this one was and basically in a no DQ match for this one. which made it interesting to see who would be able to get involved. When we did see Black Jesus on this one, I should say, and everything. And then just try and do everything you can to make sure Tyrus actually keeps the title. And basically he was able to come back on that one and retain on that, so that basically helped him there. We actually did see Mick Foley on this one being able to show his support for NWA and everything, so that was really cool there. And then we had the NWA National Championship on the line. Basically Chris Adonis dealing with Jedias on this one, and it was kind of interesting seeing Jedias basically showing signs of being human on this, so I'm sure probably be more of a face going into this from now on, so that was interesting. And they had James Mitchell with him, and Chris Adonis was able to actually be able to retain there. And then we get into the next match where we had the tag team titles for the NWA on the line. On this one with La Rebellion on this, being able to take on the end of Addison and Power on this one, and interesting back and forth match between the two teams and everything. Glad La Rebellion were actually to retain on that, so that I made it worth it there. And then we get into the well-awaited match between Nick Aldis and Tom Lattimore on this one. I really like that story between how this match was able to come about and everything, and just having Tom Lattimore be more of the heel in this one and Nick Aldis being more of the face, and to see who would be the better person on this one. And it was cool to actually have Nick Aldis actually I believe getting his win there, so that definitely makes sense. And then we had the celebration of Jazz, basically talking about her career and everything, and I believe just winding down and letting that, I'm sure, be more in the backstage role. So definitely thank you, Jazz, for everything that she's done there. Definitely a true legend for sure. And then we get into the NWA Women's Championship, Camille and Melina on this one. And this one was definitely a fun match between the two. Again, another back and forth match. I really wanted Melina to win so badly, but Camille was able to actually come back and retain. So can't really go too wrong with that. Hopefully Melina will eventually be Women's Champion in NWA. I can see that for sure at some point. And then we get into the NWA World Championship match, the main event, Trevor Murdoch and Mike Knox, which is really crazy to actually see him in the Indies and actually wrestling in the world title match with Trevor Murdoch. And he was able to actually make his presence known in the last basically pay-per-view with that steel cage, and actually being able to give it to Trevor Murdoch, and that's where we had this match and everything. So we did see more of that dominance there and everything, so that was interesting. But Trevor Murdoch was actually able to retain and come back from that. We did see Matt Cardona on this one issuing a challenge, so that's really pretty interesting to see where that's going to go. So Matt Cardona not only won an Impact World title, but now the NWA World title, so we'll see where that goes. Maybe Mike Knox will still get involved and have eventually a triple threat or something like that down the line, but that remains to be seen. So I think so far NWA for Hard Times 2 definitely one of my favorite pay-per-views of the actual weekend. And then we get into NXT Takeover with Wargames and everything, and making sure things don't actually freeze up here. And getting right into with what we did get to see for the first match for the women on this one, featuring Io Shirai, Raquel Gonzalez, Cora Jade, Kaylee Ray on this one, and of course on the other side where we had Toxic Attraction and Dakota Kai, and we did get to see the use of the weapons, which is crazy. Cora Jade definitely being able to showcase her skills, definitely for sure. At one point she had her arm injured and was kind of like just trying to wait things out for a while. Everyone's trying to protect her, making sure Toxic Attraction and Dakota Kai don't get to her. Io Shirai actually at one point popping back in the arm, making sure Cora Jade is okay, and believe it or not, she was able to actually get the win for her team after all that. Being able to have the use of the kendo stick as well for help, so that was actually really crazy, so props to her on that for sure. And then we had the tag team titles on the line, where we had Imperium, Kyle O'Reilly, and as well Wagner on this one, and been hearing that Kyle O'Reilly is looking to actually leave. And this one with Imperium being able to have some pretty crazy spots in this one, as well as Kyle O'Reilly making sure that he gets the win for his team, being able to try and get the submission. The dive from the top by Imperium was crazy, and they were able to actually get the win and retain the tag team titles there, so that was cool. But that can't go wrong there. And actually Von Wagner being able to be sour and not actually happy with losing, trying to attack Kyle O'Reilly, but Kyle O'Reilly wasn't having it, so he wasn't going to be able to be taken out like that. So we just go ahead, Kyle O'Reilly got the last laugh there. And then we had the hair versus hair match, Cameron Grimes and Duke Hudson on this one. And this one I was really nervous about. I didn't really want Cameron Grimes to actually lose the hair. That would actually look weird. So it's actually good that he was able to get his win. At one point, Duke Hudson wanted to still cut the hair of Cameron Grimes, but that didn't happen. Thank God. That would have not been a good look for Cameron Grimes. So at least he was able to get his win and keep his hair there. And then we had the Cruiserweight title on the line. Roderick Strong and as well Joe Gacy on this one. And it was actually interesting to see how things are similar between the Cruiserweight title and the X Division title, where basically no reclass really at this point, and anyone can actually be able to go at it. So that was basically the test on this one, and see if Joe Gacy can do it. Tried at times that I didn't really get to, but Roderick Strong was able to come back and retain, so that's cool there. And then we had the main event, of course, the next Wargames match, of course, Team 2.0 on this one, basically the New Breed, and as well, of course, the originals on this one, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Tony D'Angelo, Grayson Waller on one team, a Team Black and Gold, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, who was looking to actually most likely leave, and he was able to extend his contract to actually be able to be in this match, and he's never been in the Wargames match, so that was really cool to see that. And he was able to have his whole theme song back for this, which is awesome, against with LNA and as well for Pete Dunne on this one. And the amount of spots was crazy too. We did see the table being used at one point. LNA actually having to climb the cage to get in. Braun Breaker actually trying to break in as well. Johnny Gargano actually being busted open at one point, which was crazy. Just when you thought it was going to go to black and gold, we actually had Braun Breaker actually getting the win for his team, so I can definitely see him as a future NXT champion at one point, and facing Tommaso Ciampa. I can see that. That remains to be seen. So the new breed, basically at this point, the new stars, showing their hunger, and as well showing how much they really want the win and how much they're here to stay and being able to stand tall and everything. So that was interesting. But that was NXT Takeover as a whole. Not a whole lot of matches, more about the Wargames basically in itself. So I like this in December. Hopefully it does actually stay. And that's basically it for NWA Hard Times 2, and as well for NXT Takeover Wargames. What are your own thoughts? Definitely leave your thoughts and opinions, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, in the comment section, or if you want to be able to talk about it on Twitter, talk about it too for the In the Hot Seat podcast Twitter account as well. We'll be able to talk about both pay-per-views there as well. And that about does it for this month for the time being. I'm looking to have another non-wrestling related podcast at some point, basically talking about Return's journey pretty soon, so that we'll be on the lookout most likely sometime this month before Christmas, and I'll see what I can do with that since I didn't get to it last time, being able to dealing with a lot at WrestleCade, so I'll do that solo. And until then, hopefully you guys are enjoying your holidays, and as well Christmas coming up, and I'll definitely see you guys in the new year as well for 2022. Most likely, of course, for the Royal Rumble, WWE Day 1, a lot going on, hard to kill, so probably come back with actually 3 pay-per-view reviews, so a lot to get into already for 2022. So hopefully you'll have and enjoy your New Year's as well for the upcoming year. And that about does it for me for this month and for basically this year for the time being, until I do the next non-wrestling related podcast coming soon. Till then, enjoy the rest of your day, your week, and your month. And until then, I'll catch you guys in the next podcast, whenever the hell the next podcast may be. Until then, see ya.